Francisco de Holanda was one of the most important figures of the Portuguese Renaissance and a key proponent of humanism in Portugal. A multifaceted thinker, he lived through the reigns of King João III, Sebastião, and Felipe I of Portugal, witnessing a period of profound cultural and political transformation. As an artist, essayist, and art historian, Holanda was among the most innovative minds of his time, offering groundbreaking insights into portraiture, artistic theory, and the role of the artist in society. His intellectual pursuits led him to Italy, where he engaged with influential figures of the Renaissance, including none other than Michelangelo. His treatises explored the philosophical and technical aspects of portraiture, setting him apart as a pioneer in art historiography. Holanda's illuminated manuscripts stand as both historical records and artistic marvels. His compositions and their symbolism reflect the transition from classicism to mannerism. Through his art and scholarship, Francisco de Holanda cemented his place as a defining voice in the cultural landscape of 16th century Europe. Francisco de Holanda was born in Lisbon in 1517, the son of a Dutch father, most likely from Holland, and a Portuguese mother of aristocratic lineage. His father, Antonio de Holanda, was a highly esteemed illuminator during the Portuguese Renaissance, renowned for his contributions to the golden age of Portuguese illumination. His education took place in Évora, where he was influenced by some of the foremost intellectuals of the time, including Garcia de Resende, a prominent poet, chronicler, and statesman. This early exposure to literature, the arts, and classical knowledge laid the foundation for his later endeavors in artistic theory and humanist scholarship. In 1538, Holanda embarked on a voyage to Rome as part of a Portuguese diplomatic mission led by Ambassador D. Pedro de Mascarenhas to the Pope. This journey proved to be a defining moment in his career. During his time in Rome, he meticulously recorded the architectural and sculptural wonders he encountered, compiling his observations and sketches into a work known as the Album das Antigualas. This collection of drawings provides a valuable historical record of many Roman monuments as they appeared in the 16th century, preserving details of classical and Renaissance structures that have since undergone transformation or decay. While in Rome, Holanda immersed himself in the intellectual and artistic circles of the city. He engaged with prominent humanists such as D. Miguel da Silva, Blosio Palladio, and Latanzio Tolomei. He also had the extraordinary opportunity to interact with Michelangelo, whose works and artistic philosophy left a profound impression on him. Upon returning to Portugal, Holanda composed one of his most significant works between 1540 and 1548, Diálogos de Roma. This treatise, deeply influenced by his experiences in Italy, represents a pioneering study of Michelangelo's art and introduces groundbreaking concepts in artistic theory. In this work, he explores the concept of idea, which, according to Holanda, was infused in the artist's mind directly by God. Holanda likely assimilated these philosophical ideas through his interactions with the intellectual circle of Vittoria Colonna, an esteemed patron of the arts. His articulation of idea and its role in artistic creation predates similar theories put forward by later scholars such as Lomazzo and Zuccaro by nearly half a century. Some art historians speculate that these later theorists may have had access to Diálogos de Roma, particularly since Holanda's book was known to be present at the Escorial, the grand Spanish royal library founded by Philip II. Francisco de Holanda created De Aetatibus Mundi, imagines as an artistic and intellectual exploration of time, history, and divine order. This extraordinary work consists of 89 folios, and 155 intricate drawings executed in watercolors and gouache with sepia wash. The book itself is a compilation of texts relative to the ages of man, structured according to the scheme of world ages developed by Paulo Osorio and Saint Isidore of Seville. Yet the artistic production of the book was an extended and complex process, beginning in 1545 and only concluding in 1573. This long duration of creation allowed the manuscript to absorb influences from various artistic periods, making it a unique synthesis of styles and ideas. However, this delay was not merely due to external factors, but also to Holanda's own hesitation and prolonged interruptions. The most significant of these occurred in 1551, when he stopped working on the manuscript for an extended period. This stoppage left a visible mark on the drawings, as there is a discernible shift in artistic style and conceptual approach between the early and later phases of the work. The drawings created between 1545 and 1547 focus on the Fiat Lux part of the book. This first pages show, according to art historian Sylvie de Suarte Rosa, experimental paintings with Neoplatonic and sacred geometry influences. In contrast, the artistic approach taken after 1551 reveals a significant departure from these initial principles. The second phase of the manuscript's development exhibits his artistic license, licentia, and more structured compositions, aligning with the emerging stylistic tendencies of Mannerism. Furthermore, these later drawings reflect the influence of the Counter-Reformation. This shift suggests that Holanda's work evolved with the religious and artistic climate of the late 16th century. The final phase of De Aetatibus Mundi Imagines, undertaken in the 1570s, introduces a new compositional format. Hollanda structured his illustrations with a larger biblical scene at the top of the page, while the lower part featured a predella with tondi, smaller circular depictions that depicted figures and episodes relevant to the overarching theme, and subtitles. These additions further reinforced the manuscript's Catholic didactic function. While Hollanda is best known for his intellectual contributions and theoretical works on art, he also produced paintings during his lifetime. His artistic output reflected the influence of the Italian Renaissance, which he absorbed during his travels in Italy. Among his innovative literary works, two stand out: Da Fábrica que falece a cidade de Lisboa, published in 1571, and Do Tirar Pelo Natural, written in 1549. These texts demonstrate Hollanda's forward-thinking approach to architecture and portraiture, respectively. In Da Fábrica que falece a cidade de Lisboa, Holanda presented an ambitious vision for the transformation of Portugal's capital. Addressing King Sebastian, he proposed a series of architectural projects that would elevate Lisbon to the grandeur of a new Rome. His plans included monumental structures and urban reforms. However, despite their visionary nature, his proposals were never fully realized. Nevertheless, this work remains a crucial document in the history of Portuguese urbanism, showcasing an early example of a Renaissance-inspired city planning approach. His earlier work, Do Tirar Pelo Natural, is considered by many art historians to be the first treatise on portraiture ever written in Europe. Completed in 1549, it predates other significant works on the subject and offers a comprehensive exploration of the art of portrait making. The text is structured as a dialogue, a format commonly used in Renaissance humanist literature, and provides insights into the techniques and principles that should guide artists in capturing a subject's likeness. Hollanda discusses the people who deserve to be portrayed, and the role of the artist's skill in rendering the physical features, as well as the philosophical implications of portraiture. His emphasis on the faithful representation of the person and essence reveals his deep engagement with Renaissance theories of art. Francisco de Holanda was a man of vision, someone who left Portugal to immerse himself in the artistic and intellectual world of Renaissance Italy, only to return and attempt to bring those ideals to his homeland. He traveled to the art capital of the world, absorbing the influence of great masters like Michelangelo, and sought to implant the Italian Renaissance spirit in Portugal, a country largely inspired by Flemish art and shaped by artistic traditions of the late Gothic period. His mission was to bring Portuguese art closer to that of Rome, introducing new techniques, perspectives, and theoretical approaches. One of Holanda's most revolutionary ideas was his belief in the individuality of the artist. Unlike the medieval period and other times in history, where artists were seen as artisans, Holanda argued that the artist was an intellectual, distinct from the craftsman. He saw the artist as a creator, someone whose genius and vision set them apart from the anonymous labor of artisanship. This perspective aligned with the broader Renaissance notion of the artist as an inspired figure, akin to poets and philosophers, rather than just a skilled worker. Holanda's advocacy for the liberalization of the artist paved the way for a second generation of Portuguese painters, most of whom were Mannerists. These artists followed a similar path to his own. They were financed by the royal court, traveled to Italy's artistic centers, and later returned to Portugal, bringing with them the refined techniques.